exciting, but, you know, just looking now, Steve, he's 28.
28, there we go. So, Steve, just have a look at the countries. You see the flags. There's dozens of flags.
Riga, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Russia, Sweden, Poland.
So that's 7 or 8 countries and 8. That's 9 countries in 10 fights.
Yeah, and then he
Here we go. It's round 1. Chudinov against Tutouan. It's over 8 rounds, we believe. Although, of course, when you're getting fights like this coming in on feeds like this, anything can happen. But we are working on it being 8-round fight. Dmitry Chudinov, perhaps not the fighter he was all those years ago when he picked up the interim title, because that was an awful long time ago. It was about 9 years ago or 8 years ago, something like that.
Steve, when I just saw him step in the ring a couple of minutes ago before the introductions, how much he's aged in 4 years since Chris Eubanks Jr. beat him. And you think that night he took a belt in that night. He went and won about 6 fights on the spin, but he's only just won one of his last 6. And I think there's more than a theory that Eubank hammering took a lot out of him. Do you remember the chaos in the corner that night, Steve?
The fight, well, you know what? They were so arrogant, his people. They were so confident and arrogant. Good shots from Tutouan there. Good shots. I think he's hurt. It was a short left hook to the body and a left hook to the head that he threw. Letting his punches go. I tell you what I like about Tutouan, Steve. I've got to be honest with you. He's nice and tight. I wonder if that's got anything to do with that stoppage defeat.
Well, you think so. In that stoppage defeat, he actually had Ivanov on the floor in the second round.
I saw that.
He's very compact, isn't he?
Yeah, it's nice and tight, letting the shots go. They're boxing this, though, like they're in the Ultimate Boxer. It's only 3 rounds. It's not. It's 8, fellas.
You mentioned Ultimate Boxer. I know we're watching this. Wasn't that fun last night?
Yeah, it was one of the best Ultimate Boxers, stroke prize fighters. One of the best in the 12-year, 13-year series. It really was. Bit of pressure from Chudinov. Steve, he looks slow. He looks hittable. He looks like he can get hurt. Tutouan's only, in my opinion, he's just got to stick with a jab. That's a vicious shot. His legs have gone. The referee's looking close. There's a good left hook with a big right hand underneath. He can fire out some shots through the middle. He can get away with it. That right hand that comes over is a cracking shot. The left hook has barely missed. The straight right that comes around the back of the glove, that is the punch that's done all the damage. The referee taking a good look. There's still nearly a minute to go.
What's the scary, Steve? He's not missing with a single shot. Chudinov just cannot get out of the way.
No, and it looked to me, if you don't mind me saying so, that Tutouan there looked like he's almost saying, you know what, I can finish this. Why let all my punches go now? Let me soften him up. Let me pulverise him for a couple of rounds. Because he's taking all of those very slow punches from Chudinov. It's the right hands that are doing the damage. The left hook's mostly hitting the glove. Luckily, he caught his hand there in the ring support. The right hand that comes behind that left glove is doing all the damage. Short right uppercut there, also connecting cleanly.
And the jab there of rocking Chudinov's head back, Steve.
This is an awful round to have to watch if you're one of the cornermen crouched on the steps in that corner. Your fighter has barely landed with a clean shot and he's taken 20 or 30.
And when Chudinov was throwing punches, Steve, they weren't even in slow motion.
It's like he was walking in syrup. A sitting duck for the fast young
cut right eye as well, I think, Steve.
So he's picked up a cut. That was the particularly dangerous right. It's that looping right that goes over the back. The straight right was also working. The uppercut was working. The short hooks were working. He made Chudinov's legs buckle, sent him semi-dancing 4 or 5 times. The referee at about the 90-second mark was looking really closely. Chudinov, as you would expect from the Russian, not keen, not happy, not content to fall over or go backwards, knowing that if he can just get close, perhaps he can land enough shots and create a bit of pressure himself. But his tactic is taking a terrible toll on him. It's round 2, and I wonder, Steve, if it could be the last round.
Well, you certainly don't see it more than going another couple, do you? You look at his face, he's boxed for 3 minutes there. He looks like he's boxed for 8 rounds, Steve.
He looks like in the corner someone's applied that new act that's doing the rounds where you suddenly look 30 years older, the poor kid.
I tell you what, he looks at from the Eubank fight. So do you remember when he come over here?
He's fresh-faced kid.
His brother Fedor, they were bikers. I think they were close with Putin, their biking gang, wasn't it?
Part of that gang that our man used to be involved.
Was it Night Wolf or something?
The Night Wolves, I think they're called,
so,
Steve.
I know he's nicknamed Night Wolf. Were they the Night Wolf gang?
And he actually came in a leather jacket for that fight, if you remember rightly,
That's
wearing
right.
the same jacket. Roy Jones briefly flirted with that mob, if I'm not mistaken, in the fight that he had with Enzo Macronelli. So it's round 2 here live from Marseille with me, Steve Bunns, and him, Steve Lillis. You're watching Box Nation. Thanks for turning your back on the Celebrity Netball, the Sport Relief special that's on BBC Two. And thanks for concentrating on the boxing this evening. A well-tighter fight coming up. That's a sickening right hand. I knew the referee fancied it. Yeah. The referee fancied intervening from the first round. I like a referee like that. There was no point in that going on because the corner were never going to pull him out.
You called that from the first round, Steve. About a minute and a half in, the referee was looking, and I think you suggested then the referee was looking for the first opportunity, but Chudinov, as brave as he is, he was still trying to throw back. He couldn't stop it then. First time there was 5 or 6 straight shots after that, the referee jumped in.
Well, he did have a knack of throwing something after 4 or 5. Let's look at the final shots. See, Chudinov is still trying to come forward, but those shots are easy. Great left hook counter there, staggered him right just behind the elbow.
5 shots, yeah.
5 shots, but what's more, Steve, there's a left hook, right? That's the first shot, left hook to the head. Then there's a right to the body. There's a left hook to the head, then there's a right to the head. In fact, they're thrown from a stance where you're standing front on. So basically you're throwing 2 hooks, which is dangerous if you've got a counter puncher, but ideal if you've got a man in front of you.
But the people who look after Chudinov, Steve, they've got to seriously think about his long-term health and keep putting him in these fights, taking him round.
So what's that now, Steve? He's lost about 5 or 6 out of the last 7?
I think he's 5-1-1 in his last 7, but you're literally taking a carcass around Europe to get beaten up.
And I tell you, the only thing braver in the ring tonight there in Marseille than Chudinov were, and you know it's an old joke, his cornermen. There's Louis Tutouan with, looks like his brother, and perhaps his own daughter, or perhaps his niece. Lovely looking little girl. There's a woman up in a glittery sequined outfit. It's boxing in Marseille on Box Nation tonight. I'm not sure if this isn't the first show we've ever had in 9 and a bit years, or the first time we've ever had a fight from Marseille.
I don't think we've had too many shows from France, Steve.
We haven't. It's one of the, you know what, I like France as a fight venue, and I love Marseille as a destination. You can get the direct from St Pancras these days.
It's a raucous town as well.
It is a raucous town,
Marseille.
And the only translation of raucous, I can assure you, is X-rated. Tutouan moves to, improves his record.
13-1, Steve. We're, I think, 12 inside the distance now.
Yep. But just have a quick look if you're a fan of 70s crooners, and I mean crooners. The MC here is an absolute ringer for a young Charles Aznavour. That is assuming Charles Aznavour was ever young, because I think he came out fully formed. Let's have a little look at it. Let's get the official result. That's a lovely picture. Tutouan having his hand raised, the second round. As good as that was a win, how lovely was that when his little girl was staring into her father's eyes. He's the winner. Louis Tutouan, we're off and running here in Marseille this evening. We'll be back after just about, 90 odd